Hey guys. So, I don't know what the ratio is with you guys, with who smokes and who doesn't, like what the majority is. I could take a guess that it's probably going to be the majority non-smokers as opposed to smokers, just because that is sort of the majority of population in general. These days it's like people who smoke are kind of like lepers. So I smoke, and the other night I was walking to the supermarket with my daughter, and the only reason I would be walking instead of driving, of course, is because I had to save the parking space that I had managed to get for myself. The parking situation has gotten like insanely ridiculous, like way worse than it was. So yes, that's a story for another time. So anyway, off I went, and walking along the street outside, you know, it was really fucking windy, so, you know, there's lots of airflow and, you know, it's all moving around and shit. So we're walking along and I'm smoking, and this guy came from behind us. I didn't even, like, for a while there was no one nearby, so I don't know if he came like out of a shop or out of a side street or something like that. He just like appeared, and the only reason I knew that he was even there is because he had to do this big, like, wide thing to like get around us, to the point that he almost like walked off the footpath and onto the road to like go like really wide to get around. And while he's doing this, he added in for dramatic effect that, which I just love. I've got to say, like, I know the whole like smokers versus non-smokers thing is like a touchy subject. That's fine. That's not what I'm here to fucking, you know, debate or discuss or whatever. It's like, you know, it's just how it is. And it will continue to get worse. But yeah, so it's really just, you know, do you have to do that? Like, do you have to add in the cough? Like, and then, as if that wasn't enough to have already irked me, he then throws in, God, I wish people would stop smoking, so disgusting. And, you know, off he's fucking gone. And it's like, did you have to do that? Did you have to interject yourself into my life with some, like, verbal exchange? Was it really necessary? You were already going around me, like, so fucking wide that, you know, you risk fucking getting hit by a car just to fucking avoid coming anywhere near us. Then you've thrown that in on top, as well as the cough that makes me just want to fucking slap someone when fucking people do that. If you don't smoke, like, that's fine, but don't do that fucking cough thing, because it just is, it's like the most fucking annoying thing ever. Anyway, yes, the cough alone was enough to piss me off, but then the verbal on top really pissed me off. So I may have responded to him. I may have suggested that he look into getting himself a bubble, or perhaps he should just take to staying indoors from now on. And then, you know, off we went. And I said it just as politely as I'm saying it now too. Yeah. Anyway, so, like, the thing is that this guy was 60s, 50s, 60s, like, he's spent, like, more of his life, like, more years of his life in a time where there was smoking and no smoking sections in restaurants, hospitals, planes, fucking supermarkets, everywhere, than he has with it being like how it is now. So, like, if he was younger, I would have sort of got it more, because smoking, like, for the younger generation, like, say my daughter's generation, smoking is not even like a consideration. It's just like, no. Like, it's not like what the cool kids do. It's just like, it's just a known thing that smoking is just like a no-go. It's, the whole viewpoint on smoking has totally flipped now. Which, in that aspect of things, like, that's good. I'm not, of course, not saying that I want my daughter to think that smoking is great and looking, you know, start taking my cigarettes. Like, that's not, you know, what I dream of at night. Like, you know, the day that Destiny's old enough to fucking share a cigarette with me. No, I'm not saying that. So obviously, yes, it's good that, you know, kids are ruling it out at an early age. If it was someone, you know, younger, then yeah, I would have sort of understood more. Like, it would have been kind of like, okay. But for him, it's like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, why do you have to be such a fucking dickhead? You know, there's a multitude of things that he could have done that didn't include a verbal exchange with me. He could have fucking crossed the road. He could have just, like, hung back a little bit and, like, waited until we got further ahead. He could have just done his, like, over dramatic wide overtake and just fucking, you know, picked up the pace and, you know, like he did, and continued walking. He could have done exactly what he did, minus the cough, minus the verbal, and we would have just fucking continued on in our own separate worlds, and that would have been that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why did he feel the need to just interject himself? And the, like, with the whole thing with, like, smoking being different now, it is different. And it's like, people who don't smoke, you guys have got like 90% of the world to yourselves, where you can be in like a non-smoking zone. And great, you know, we've got the rest. All that we've got left, I don't know what it's like elsewhere, but in Melbourne, even the laws in Australia vary from state to state, but in Melbourne, Victoria, all that smokers have left in the whole state is our house, our car, and outside in the fucking wind and the rain. That's it. There's no smoking sections anywhere. You can't smoke in bars, or there's no smoking sections in restaurants. Nothing. They're even, like, some places don't even let you smoke in the outdoor area, like where there's food being served. Like, you can't smoke there. There are places that still allow it, but there are places that don't as well. So yeah, even that is, you know, even though it's outside because it's around food and stuff, which I get, like, I don't, whether it's allowed or not, like, if someone else is eating, I don't smoke because, you know, it fucks with your smell and taste, and, you know, it can disturb your dining experience, and I appreciate that, but I can't speak for every smoker in the world. You know, I'm sure there are some who would not give a shit and just light a cigarette and think, well, fuck you, you're sitting in the outside section. If you don't want to be near someone that's smoking, go sit inside. Whereas I get it, you know, you want to sit outside in the fucking sun, whatever, enjoy that. But it's like part of our outside space at the same time. It's no different to someone walking along the footpath. Like, you can't stop people from walking down the footpath past an outside eating area with a cigarette. Like, you can't police that. So how is that different to someone sitting, like, you know, a few tables away or whatever? Yeah, it's more consistent. Alright, I just answered my own question. It's more constant. Like, someone walking past, it's like, might just be like one gust of foul smell for you. Whereas if someone's having an entire cigarette nearby, then it's like constant for like 5 minutes or whatever. Okay, I get it. No need to answer that. But yeah, you know, you guys have got majority of the world. And this guy can't even allow us that, like, it's not even 10%, let's say 5%. Like, although the outside is big, I don't know, look, my maths is fucking terrible, but let's just say there's a majority of places that are non-smoking and only a very small number of places that are able to be smoking. And really, the only places that you can smoke without getting dickheads like him is in your house and in your car, not even outside. Every time you light a cigarette on the street, you're risking a dickhead like him. You're risking the fucking cough, or the fucking or fucking people looking at you like you've got fucking some hideous disease or something. Like, like you're some fucking mutant. And, you know, it's not fucking pleasant. It doesn't take a fucking genius to, you know, be able to understand that it's not fucking pleasant. But, you know, it's just how it is. But, you know, sometimes non-smokers can be real assholes. I just putting it out there. Sometimes you guys are real fucking assholes. Maybe if you had a cigarette and calmed the fuck down, you know, you'd be, you know, a bit nicer. Maybe. Although some people are just assholes. And there's plenty of assholes that smoke too, like me.